Every day, the waves of doubt and fear crashed over him, leaving him feeling adrift and powerless. His dreams were distant lighthouses, their lights barely visible through the fog of his own uncertainty. One evening, staring at his reflection in a rain-streaked window, Kai saw not just a tired face, but a flicker of defiance in his own eyes. A question echoed in his mind. What if I could be the captain of my own ship? The next morning, Kai woke up with a new resolve. He wrote down one small, achievable goal. Walk for 15 minutes before work. It was a tiny rudder, but it was his. He was charting his own course. That first step was the hardest, but Kai took it again the next day and the next. He learned that discipline wasn't a cage, but the key that unlocked the door to his own freedom. Each sunrise, he chose action over apathy. As days turned into weeks, one small goal led to another. The 15-minute walk became a 30-minute jog. He started reading a book on a topic that fascinated him. Just for 10 pages a day, each action was a paddle stroke, moving him forward. Kai realized it wasn't enough to sail away from the storm. He needed a destination. He closed his eyes and painted a vivid picture of his lighthouse. Not just a light, but the warmth of its walls, the sound of its horn, the feeling of standing at the top, victorious. He met a mentor, an older woman named Alara, who saw the fire in his eyes. The biggest storm you'll ever face, she told him, is the one inside your own head. Learn to calm those waters, and you can navigate any ocean. Alara taught him to become the gatekeeper of his own mind. He learned to challenge the roaring winds of "I can't" and replace them with the steady, powerful breeze of "I will." His thoughts were the rudder, and he was finally learning to steer. Failures are not shipwrecks, Alara explained, her voice calm and steady. They are simply course corrections. They are the universe's way of showing you a better route. Do not fear them. Learn from them. As Kai's inner world changed, his outer world began to transform. He saw opportunities where he once saw obstacles, conversations where he once saw silence, and potential where he once saw problems. The world hadn't changed, but his focus had. He sought out others who were also on their own voyages. He found a small group of dreamers and doers who met to share their charts and their challenges. He realized that even a captain needs a fleet for support. In their weekly meetings, they shared their victories, which multiplied the joy, and their struggles, which divided the burden. Kai learned that vulnerability was a strength, and that lifting others was the surest way to lift himself. Kai started a new logbook. Each night, before sleep, he wouldn't write about his goals, but about his gratitude. He listed 3 things he was thankful for, from the sun on his face to a kind word from a stranger. This became his anchor in the present moment. His confidence grew, rooted in his actions and his gratitude. He began to share his own story with the group, not as a victim of the sea, but as a student of its ways. He saw his own light reflected in their hopeful eyes. Then, a hurricane hit. A project he had poured his heart into failed spectacularly. A trusted ally let him down. The waves of failure and betrayal crashed over him, higher and more powerful than any he had faced before. The sky turned black. For a moment, he was that small boat again. The old voices of doubt screamed in the wind. "See? You're not a captain. You're a fool in a dinghy." He felt the cold water at his ankles and was tempted to just let the ship go down. But this time was different. Deep within, he felt a solid core. He dropped his anchor of gratitude. He remembered Alara's words. He pictured his fleet. He looked at his hands and knew they were the hands of a captain who had weathered storms before. This was just another test. He didn't just survive the storm. He was forged by it. He emerged not with bitterness, but with a deeper wisdom. He now understood that the size of the captain is measured by the size of the storm they can overcome. His spirit was unbreakable. His dream, once a distant lighthouse, was now a welcoming harbor, getting closer with every conscious choice, every deliberate action. He wasn't just hoping to reach it. He was charting a direct course, his hand steady on the helm. He was no longer a small boat lost at sea. He was the captain. He was the navigator. He was the master of his own incredible voyage. And looking out at the vast, beautiful horizon, he smiled. The journey was the destination.